we were doing our celebrity interviews together. How many years ago was that? That's crazy, right?
I know. Yeah. Hey, no, I think it was like almost 3 years ago. It was like in the middle of COVID too, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, absolutely. Where we didn't have all the different things, the professional mics and all these things, but we still interviewed some amazing people every week. Now, today we're going to be talking about your next event coming up, and just a little bit about you. So, people, especially my live stream this morning, and also people, checking you out for the first time. What do you do?
Oh, thank you for letting me share. So, I am a mental fitness life coach, author, and speaker. So, I work with women 35 plus that are in that second act of life, maybe hitting midlife. Kids might be ready to bolt out of the house and they're just like, where have I been hiding all this time? Where have I been? Why am I sitting in my titles of mom, PTA, professional career woman? And they're like, I need to do something for me. So I help women step into that Shiro self, step into understanding they can say no as a complete sentence and yes to themselves. And as they say no to others, so that they become a Shiro of their life. They become stronger, they become happier, they become empowered to do things like what you and I are doing, or start a business, or just go out and do some things that they've been not paying attention to for a little while. And whether it's self-care, whether it's going on staycation. And then as they become empowered to do that, they walk into a room, people start noticing a difference because they realize, wow, what's happening with you? Like, have you cut your hair? Have you lost weight? Like, what's new about you? They got that, what I call radiant glow up. And then at the end of the day, they start really being that original, authentic self that they were supposed to be, that they really are, but they've kind of just put her on the shelf for a little bit while they take care of everybody else.
100%. You've nailed it, because the thing is that you get to the specific point and you have to recharge your batteries. Everyone needs self-care. You have to recharge your batteries. You have to be able to do this. And as a coach, you do this, but ultimately you create a community. It can't
Yeah.
just be you, talking to a few women one to one. You create a community that women can share some of their challenges, some of their wins, and all those things. So explain how you do that.
Yeah, so during COVID, I saw this need of, women that they're, oh my gosh, I'm home now with my kids. I did not want to be their teacher. I send them to school to be taught. I'm with my spouse or my partner all day long. I love them, but I don't want to spend 24/7 with me. So they were kind of having these Calgon take me away moments, but they just couldn't leave. So I created a 30-day self-care challenge, and it was just about getting women together on Zoom, doing something once a day for themselves. And it took off. And at the end of 30 days, everybody's like, well, now what, Pearl? Like, what are we going to do next? And I was like, well, we've already got this community. Let's grow it. Let's keep empowering each other, because we still didn't know what was going to happen with the world. And so let's keep moving on. And that's where the Shiro League started from. And on top of that, I had put that was the year that I also put I think it was my fourth annual pajama retreat on hold, because you couldn't hold events. And so I reached out to the girls who had attended the retreat before, our soulful self-care retreat. And I'm like, hey, we're doing this community. Let's get everybody together. And your PJ sisters, as we call them at the retreat, let's power up together. And that's what we did. It became the Shira League. We meet every Sunday evening, still to this day, from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's not recorded. It's a safe space to vent. It's a safe space to celebrate. It's also a safe space to say, how this is what I'm working on, but I don't know how to do it. And so we're still doing it. It's called the Shiro League every Sunday evening.
Well, that's fabulous. And it's like it's something that really is special, because the community gets to connect together. And through that community, you've done events before, especially retreats. What's the power of a retreat? Explain the power of a retreat and why a retreat is something that this community totally needs.
Yeah, so I started the retreats because I'd gone to this amazing event. Linda McMahon, who you know from WWE, Stacy Shefflin, and Debbie Saviano Leadership Live program. And I was working with Stacy on some other stuff, and she's like, come be an ambassador. So I went to two of their events, and I was sitting in this room and I saw amazing professional women, up on stage sharing their story. But the one common thread was having time for self. Like, how do I find harmony? Because balance is great, but there's always something that's going to be different in your life, right? So I sat back, and Stacy and I kind of did a brunch here locally where I live in Tampa, Florida. And she's like, you need to do a retreat. I'm like, a retreat? I'm like, Okay, let's do it. So I put together a pajama retreat. It's a soulful self-care PJ retreat. You show up on a Thursday, you're in your pajamas. There's no makeup allowed because I truly believe if we get rid of the makeup, we can start really delving in and peeling that onion back of what's holding you back from the things you want to do, from leaving relationships that you not shouldn't be in to starting a business. It could be different things. It depends on where you're at in your life, but it's an opportunity to step away from the everyday demands of life to meet some other women who are like-minded that say, I need to do something for self. We do yoga on the beach. We have a photographer. You can buy a massage while you're there, but we work on things around self-care. We work on self-doubt. We work on, how do I make priorities? How do I set boundaries? We work on communicating our realistic expectations. I have a client that came to her first retreat with us, and one of the things that we were working on in the Wheel of Life was, she wanted to have a piece of furniture. She wanted a dining room table, right? And she's like, my husband won't let me have this dining room table. I'm like, well, it's not that he won't let you. Let's talk about what are his concerns. So we worked on understanding what is his love language, right? It wasn't that he didn't want her to have a dining room table. It was like he wanted to see the budget. He had a budget in his mind. So she created three different tables she would accept, including reupholstering her own chairs. And she presented the three table options, and she got the middle option, which was an option she wanted, was a whole new table. And he understood and he appreciated that she took into consideration his concerns. And so communicating realistic expectations is another thing that we work on. But we don't just work on things. We also have time on the beach. We want you to have that quiet time for yourself. We give you a little homework to do while you're doing the quiet time, but you can sit in the beach, go for a swim, sit in the pool, whatever that is for you. And then when you come home, I mean, so many people go to these things, go to retreats, go to conventions, you come home and you're just like, oh, you forgot everything you learned, right? That's where the community comes into play. That's where the Shiro League shows up, because then you come home and you come into the Shiro League, and we have accountability in that program too.
So let's talk about specifically what date the event is, and
Yeah,
then
so
also when you sign up, you get more than just that retreat, which is an amazing part of it, right?
yeah, so you're going to get lots of value. First of all, the date is September 12th to September 16th. It's in the Gulf Shores of Alabama. We literally have a house on the beach, and our house this year is called the Banana Cabana. So we're really excited about the name. But you get more than just a retreat, because leading up to the retreat, I have a 10-week positive intelligence program that I teach. So you're going to get that 10-week program. So you and I are going to sit down together. We're going to work together on Zoom. We're going to talk about your saboteurs, how you're judging yourself, how to sage those thoughts, how to like turn off the switch and tell your brain, nope, I'm not going to go there. My saboteur, I call her Betsy. So if yours is Betsy like me, how to turn her off for a little bit. We're going to also work on some self-care options, like how are you prioritizing setting boundaries. We're going to talk about creating journaling prompts. And the other thing we're going to work on too before we lead up to the retreat is identifying 10 things that bring you joy, because I want you to come to the retreat ready to start working on those things that bring you joy, and having like sort of a game plan. What are your top ones that you're not doing today? So when you come to the retreat, you have some action things you want to work on.
Totally. Wow. See, and that's great. And after the retreat's over, you're not done with Pearl, right? That's
Right.
the
Yeah.
other part,
No.
because there's action. A lot of people go to retreats, they go to an event, and then they never take action, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you get 1 year of our Shiro League as well. After the retreat, you have one full year from when you sign up to retreat till 1 year later, you get our Shiro League as well.
And I think the best thing always is to schedule a call with Pearl before that. But let's kind of talk about that. So the 1 year of the Shiro League, you have a lot of great stories of women that have been transformed to go on to and want to stay. It's not like, okay, once your problems are over, problems will always happen. Challenges will always happen. And so you're hoping this is not something, this is a lifetime to want to be with you and really help you through all those challenges, because you really understand and you tailor things for people. It totally sounds like it from that one story.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is tailored. One of the things that, when a client comes to me, if they've been with a coach before, I'll ask them, so why me? Like, what about me, what made you pick up the phone, email me, or come visit me? And they always say, I follow you, Pearl, on social media. I've been introduced to you. I see you're real, you're honest, and you don't sugarcoat anything. You aren't telling me you're doing something that you aren't doing. And so that's one of the reasons why to work with me is I'm also going to hold you accountable. I'm not going to do all the work for you. And if you get stagnant, I had a client who, she wants to make a change in a relationship, but she's scared to make the change. And so we got to a crossroad and I said, I can't move you forward till you decide you're either going to stay with this relationship where you're at, and I'm going to help you find joy in that, or you're going to make a decision to leave the relationship, and I'm going to give you the resources and support and coach you through it. And so she made her choice. I'm not going to say which one, but we're coaching her through that, right? So that's one of my clients. Another client, the one with the table, we circled back around. Her husband, who okay, ladies, who does not want their spouse to buy them a new car, right? Nobody's going to turn that away, right? However, the car he was going to get her, she's short like I am. She didn't feel safe, right? So she's like, I love that he wants to do it, but I don't feel safe. I said, we need to tell him that. So again, communicating our thoughts, our expectations. So she went and explained, I don't feel safe in this car. However, I know this is the brand you want to get me. This is what I've looked at. Think I would feel safer in this one. Can we go look at it? He totally understood because who doesn't want to not only buy a car but wants to keep it safe and not be in an accident? And she was worried she might get an accident because, like me, it's hard to see over the dashboard sometimes, right? So they switched the type of car they got. So she got that car. Again, it goes to communicating. One of the things, the other thing that I coach on is like in relationships, whether you're married, you're at work, or wherever your relationship with whoever it is, you have to be able to talk to somebody about challenges that come up. And we coach on going to somebody like my husband and I'll go to him if I'm having a challenge or vice versa. And we'll say, are you open to receiving? Again, communication is something that I coach on and teach. And if the other person, whether it's your job or your spouse, isn't open to receiving, then you have to make the commitment with that person that within 24 hours, you'll circle back around and have that conversation with them. And the funny thing is, typically, you've rethought the conversation. It's not as heavy on your mind as it was, and you can restructure it and walk through some of the concerns you truly have at the end. So those are some of the success stories we've done, and I'm really proud of the women that I work with. The last lady I want to share with you, Melissa, when she came to my first retreat, we weren't doing overnight. It was come and go. And she was in a tough relationship that she was not married, but she needed to leave, but she didn't have the income that she needed to have to get there. Not only did she work hard to get the income, she worked hard to get out of the relationship. She actually bought her first house and she's tripled her income level than when she first met me.
That's fantastic. Best place people can find information on your work. Best place to go, Pearl.
Best place is just go to my website, wsliving.com. You can fill out the contact me information there, or I'm on social media, Pearl Sharenza, all over TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So you can get me there as well.
All right. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Okay. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show. We'll be